Greetings everyone, my name is Buck Business and welcome to my review of Into the Badlands Season 2 Episode 9, Nightingale Sings No More. So we actually begin this episode 20 years prior, where we see Baji is a part of the Abbot group still. So he's in front of this trunk and a girl is locked inside and she's trying to fight her way out. So it shows that this girl was in fact the flea, as Baji referred to her anyway. So they fight for a bit when Flea unleashes herself from the trunk and they begin to fight, and then Baji decides to stun her. So the flea had this book that was identical to NK's. And we find out that Flea's real name, I didn't catch it last time if they mentioned it, but her real name was Minerva. So that actually went completely over my head because I think we've heard that name prior in reference to the character it was about to mention later, but we'll get to that in a bit. Anyways, we head back over to the butterfly group where the widow, Sunny, are talking and MK and Tilda join them, and MK gets brought to his own little area. So Sunny also gets a change of clothes so that he's not mistaken. So Baji was still following them from the previous episodes, and now he wants to attempt to fake an allegiance to the widow. So he's at the gate trying to convince the guards that he is going to be with them now. So MK talks about not wanting to have his power back, and he's referring to the widow when I think he turns to her after a short little moment with Tilda when she's outside. But anyway, I think that happens later, but I might be getting mixed up. Anyway, MK wants Tilda to come with him, but Tilda doesn't know if that would be the best decision. Then MK meets Odessa, and I got that main name mistaken last time. I believe that I called her something else, but yes, Odessa is the girl that Tilda had shown affection for, I believe either 2 or the previous episode ago. So anyway, Odessa seemed a bit freaked out, so Tilda gave chase to see what was going on, and Odessa talked about how she had seen the power, but it doesn't really show her in that flashback, so it shows MK in doing his thing, and then with the black power, and then Odessa just says all this stuff about how she knew about it, and how that she thinks that power will never truly go away. So we cut to Quinn eating with Gabriel, and they're taking in some ice cream. Quinn says that he wants Gabriel to have a purpose, and this leads to some destructive behaviors later on in the episode. So Quinn hands this bag that appears to have these explosives in them. So Quinn then talks to Vale about Sunny. After that, Vale slaps her, and he slaps her back, and then she gets taken away. Sunny, now being changed, while looking at a map, he's confronted by Waldo. And Waldo talks about doing what's best in order to survive once more. That talk we've seen them had prior, where it was all about, letting go of your emotions, and that does come up again. And then Sunny declares that his emotions is what kept him alive. So Waldo offers his farewell. And then we cut back to Quinn talking with Lydia. And he also knows about Lydia's intentions about trying to wait out for Sunny and all that stuff now. So he's been keeping a close eye, or has had some of his followers keeping a close eye to make sure they're overhearing what they have been saying. So anyway, now this is the point where Tilda, MK sees Tilda, and then that wave happens, and then the widow talks to MK about the powers. So the widow pulls out that book and says that she wants to give him back his powers. But MK does want peace in that location. I believe it was referred to as Azrael. So we cut to Gabriel now entering the butterfly camp as a refugee. They hear some screaming, and then we see that Gabriel is holding one of the butterflies hostage and then kills her. Gabriel is trying to break away the bonds here. So he talks about how Vale was traded off to Quinn, and then he uses this bomb to blow himself up. So the widow, now realizing that Sunny has nothing left to gain from this temporary truce, widow attacks Sunny, and then Sunny flees and is stopped by some of her clippers. Baji comes in and gets the thanks for once for saving Sunny, as he claims it was. So Sunny heads off for Quinn, and Baji heads out to help MK. MK heads out to see that devastation from the explosion, and Baji opens this convenient door and just happens to save MK, but they're looking for something else. I believe it was the book that they were looking for. And we discover the widow is the flea, and again, that name Minerva, I think that name came up before this episode, but it completely went over my head, so that actually caught me by surprise when they said that. So we find out that the widow was trained by Baji, and Baji pulls out the compass afterwards and finally opens up to MK about taking that. So while they were discussing their plans, Odessa heard the entire thing. In the meanwhile, Lydia takes the baby from Quinn, and she wanted to talk to Vale about wanting to escape because she noticed some bombs a little bit later on. So Baji and MK look around, and the widow had the book because she had her butterfly Odessa overhear them. So they have a bunch of butterfly units ready to fire at them and back up the widow. She wants Baji to reveal the secrets of that book. So one of Quinn's clippers takes Lydia to this unknown or new location, and Lydia then, as I mentioned, sees those bombs, and she tells Vale about that and how they have to now escape on their own. So in the meantime, we see that Tilda was trying to attempt to find MK, but was unable to find him, so she's having a little chat with the widow now. And Tilda mentions how she doesn't even know the widow anymore. The widow slaps Tilda, and Tilda then goes out and says that she should have poisoned her when she had the chance. They fight in a quite intense fight, and the widow utterly almost dominates the entire match, except for this one moment where Tilda gets this one hit in. But besides that, the widow overwhelms Tilda with her skill and prowess in battle. So Tilda is absolutely crushed by this chandelier. And so I will assume that her damage is very significant. And I must say, this episode was pretty interesting seeing the backstory and having that all come full circle. But what took this episode for me was indeed the fight at the end of it. It was probably one of my favorite fights to come out of this season. The student and master rivalry here is actually something that has been set up throughout some of the episodes. So this fight feels like it's had more significance over its other episodes and other fights. And the choreographed fighting, there we go, is something that's always on, it's something that is always great as to be expected. So, definitely one of my favorite fights to come out of this season thus far. So, that is my review of this episode, and if you enjoyed it, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, farewell, everyone.